Welcome Matters With. I'm your host, ThisPhillipBrian. Today we're here to discuss audio novel matters with you. I've been spending a lot of time in the car, hour and 15, hour and a half, each direction, each day, to make it to the office. Not this office, the office that actually produces income. This one is just a way to spend income. After the fantastic Star Trek novel, Lost to Eternity by Greg Cox, I had the craving for more Trek. So I've been listening to audio Trek novels on my way to and from work. And I'm going to give you a review roundup of 3 of them, all set aboard the Enterprise during Captain Pike's tenure in the center seat.
Captain Pike.
Captain Pike.
Captain Pike.
Captain Pike.
And Captain Pike.
Number 1 to Captain Pike.
Captain Christopher Pike.
For this review, I'm going to take these 3 novels in chronological order that they happen in the Trek verse. First up, The Enterprise War, 2256 through 2257 by John Jackson Miller. The audio performance by Robert Petkoff. Set during the Klingon War, this novel explains where the Enterprise was during the events of Discovery Season 1. That's always something that as we were watching, us fans were watching Discovery Season 1, there's this huge war battle going on with the Klingons, and the Federation's most famous ship is nowhere to be seen or heard. The flagship's not around. They covered this in a line or two in season 2 on why it wasn't there, but this book delves into that a lot deeper. Isolated in a far-flung perilous Nebula, Captain Pike and his crew face alien threats and moral challenges that test Starfleet's core values. While Pike mediates between 2 warring alien factions, Number 1 fights to reunite the crew, and Lieutenant Spock tackles a mystery that stretches his logic and combat to its limits. Survival and peace hang in the balance as they navigate this year-long ordeal far from Federation space. The Enterprise War is a solid mid-tier Trek tale. It is entertaining and true to the characters, but the very need for the story feels contrived. Overall, I give it a B.
Logical.
That brings us to the High Country, set in 2259. This tale is written by John Jackson Miller as well and is narrated by Robert Petkoff, a name we hear a lot in the audio narration, audio performance of Star Trek novels. Once again, this is published by Gallery Books under the Pocket imprint, and I listened to it on Audible. Stranded on a pre-industrial planet, Captain Pike, Commander Chen Riley, Lieutenant Spock, and Ensign Uhura are separated not only from one another, but also from contact with the Enterprise. And they are stripped of their advanced technology. Struggling to adapt to the local culture and environment, they uncover a hidden history with galaxy-wide implications. Balancing survival with the Prime Directive, the crew must reunite and prevent disaster without violating Starfleet principles. This novel is a spiritual successor, and some may call it an outright sequel to the Enterprise episode North Star. It is standard Trek fare, done pretty well, but has been done better elsewhere. It asks questions, it challenges the character, it is entertaining. However, the story arcs feel quite overdrawn, overblown, blown up, stretched too thin. Overall, while I enjoyed it, it wasn't as strong as the previous novel. I'm going to give it a B-.
Logical decision, logically arrived at.
That brings us to Star Trek Asylum, which takes place in 2 time windows, 2233 and 2260. It is written by Una McCormick and read by Robert Petkoff. Also published through Pocket Books and Gallery Books. Listened to on Audible.
Do you understand what I'm suggesting, Captain?
Once again, this is a dual time frame story that explores in 2233. Una is a standout cadet hiding a personal secret, while Pike is a rising star in Starfleet navigating complicated hierarchies. Their bond strengthens through shared challenges, setting the foundation for their future command partnership. Decades later, a terrorist attack tied to Una's past resurfaces, threatening peace negotiations, but also disrupting an inequitable balance within a feline-like species. There's a lot going on in this book, but the heart of it, the poignant points of it are all tied to Una and Chris's friendship in that earlier time frame, that 2233 window. That is excellent. Absolutely wonderful. I give it an A. It lays the foundation for this friendship that we will see develop and grow as they become the command team, her the executive officer and him the captain of the Enterprise. The other stuff in the book, the time frame of 2260, when they are in those roles, it's okay. It's standard Trek fare. It's almost forgettable. But the previous stuff, the stuff set when they are a cadet and an ensign, is fantastic. That part's an A. The rest of it is mediocre, so I'm going to give it a C. Splitting the difference, I'm going to call this story a solid B, maybe even a shaky B. But that, again, that stuff, that should have been the whole story. The whole story should have been set in the 2233 time frame, where we have Una as this outstanding cadet dealing with all these struggles, including a particular instructor who's very hard on her, and then her growing this friendship with this young ensign who's a rising star. That is where the story should have stayed, because it's phenomenal. The rest of it, whatever.
Does your logic find this fascinating, Mr. Spock?
Well, fascinating is a word I use for the unexpected. In this case, I should think interesting would suffice.
To recap, The Enterprise War by John Jackson Miller, a B. High Country by John Jackson Miller, a B-. Asylum by Una McCormick, a B. All three of these novels are performed by Robert Petkoff, who elevates every sentence of every novel I've ever listened to this man perform. He's fantastic. If you see his name next to a novel, I would highly recommend that you will know the audio performance. Whether the novel is good, bad, or great, the audio performance will be excellent.
Logical.
What's a Trek novel you love? I'm diving into the novel Sarek next, and that review will be soon to follow. I'm going to do multiple Trek novel reviews leading up to the Section 31 movie and the next season, Season 3 of Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Looking forward to it. Send me your recommendations on the best of Star Trek novels. Once again, coming up next for me is Sarek. We'll talk soon.